Sponsored by TechTime Radio. Visit them online at techtimeradio.com.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host, a technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise working for Fortune 500 companies across the nation. Our co-host here, Mike Corday, is in studio. Mike's an award-winning author and human behavior expert. He helps keeping me from geeking out. And we are live streaming during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. We are all friends from different backgrounds, but bringing the best technology show possible weekly for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. We're glad to have Odie, our producer, at the control panel today. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time, we got a jam-packed show for you. First up, the battle royale between OpenAI and the New York Times. We're going to be talking about this. This was the breaking story this morning, so you look at me like, hey, we didn't talk about this last night.
I'm looking at you because you're yelling.
Oh, am I yelling at you?
Yeah, I can hear you through my headset.
Okay, well, that's okay. Rawr, there you go. All right, so then we're going to also be talking about, essentially, OpenAI is accusing the Times of hacking ChatGPT. It's an all-out AI drama at its finest. Next, picture this. Your burger place is dancing in the rhythm for the demands of that brand new burger. Wendy's is testing digital menu boards that adjust prices based on demand. Your lunchtime Baconator might cost you a little extra. You gonna be excited about that, Mike? So essentially, we're talking about what Wendy's has got coming on. And Wendy's got some technology stuff that they've tried to do in the past. And I'll go through a couple of these things.
I think this is a fall on your face thing.
Okay. All right. And cue the dramatic music. Musk battles Microsoft over Windows 11 setup of his new PC. And that's not all. Cybersecurity guru Nick Espinosa joins us later with hacks, stashes of information, and chaos galore. Strap in, listeners, because TechTime Radio is launching into orbit. In addition, of course, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, our technology fail of the week, and a possible Nathan Nugget. And, of course, our pick of the day whiskey tastings to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. But now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, story number 1. OpenAI accuses the New York Times of hacking ChatGPT. Let's go to David Larson with more on the story.
The New York Times is currently suing OpenAI for copyright infringement and claims that the influential tech startup used its journalistic material to train its chatbot, ChatGPT, without paying the proper licensing fees. But Sam Altman's company, OpenAI, is fighting back against these accusations with some accusations of its own. This week, OpenAI claimed that the newspaper had hacked its products. It took them tens of thousands of attempts to generate the highly anomalous results that make up Exhibit J to the complaint. It's not entirely clear what OpenAI is talking about. If I had to guess, it sounds like the New York Times hired a contractor to see whether they could make ChatGPT reproduce their reporting.
All right. Yes. So here's what we got going on. An illegal filing made public this week. OpenAI claimed that it had product abuse by someone who was paid by the New York Times to do so. In other words, the company claimed that essentially they brought in somebody to go through and actually look at OpenAI's code and to try to hack it to see how it would actually work within the system itself. It took them tens of thousands of attempts, essentially, in this Exhibit J complaint. And OpenAI says, we are going to come back at you guys for complaining about us using this tool to learn the system, which OpenAI was a language model, a large language model, which probably used many sources of information. And I'm sure the New York Times was one of many of their sources that they had. But now it looks like the New York Times kind of reverse engineered it so that they can use the existing systems and be a part of this lawsuit, saying that they are actually a problem because they hired a contractor to come on in and hack away with that. All right. So we got nothing better than
I'm still trying to follow your whole thing here. So
okay. So OpenAI.
OpenAI is countersuing New York Times because they say New York Times hired somebody to hack their system and do what with it?
Find out that essentially to use their system incorrectly, the way that it's not supposed to be used, so that they could then establish this exhibit so that the New York Times could sue OpenAI.
Okay.
So they essentially brought in a contractor. He hacks away at the code, then says, aha, looks like this is where they found they were using our documents. This is where they were searching for your documents in the large language model. And then essentially that's a part of the lawsuit.
Well, you're a Sam Altman fan.
I am.
Who were you rooting for?
Well, I think Altman is going to win this one.
Why do you think that?
Well, because I think that if you
because you're a Sam Altman fan.
Because there was no AI rules in place to use this large language model. They're now creating this. Hey, well, if you guys are going to be using our information, you need to pay. I'm the local Seattle Times. If I want to watch or any videos on there, I want to read more than 2 articles a day, I have to pay for a subscription fee. They didn't have this 10 years ago. A lot of the newspaper companies that have moved from print to online now charge a subscription fee, but they're saying that the data that was used previously to that was just open data that they could mine and get the information.
Okay,
from.
So what happens? Let's assume maybe you're correct that OpenAI gets this win. What happens if they don't?
Well, if they don't, then they end up just paying a lot of money and give it to the New York Times and say, here you go. But I think the terms and conditions of software company is really good with their terms and conditions. That
they just need to prove that somebody actually hacked them.
Yeah. So what it sounds like is the actual person or firm that they hired maybe kind of squealed that that's what they were doing. And so that's a part of the lawsuit where the actual company or individuals that were a part of this actually went to OpenAI and told them what they did. So
okay.
That's what it sounds like.
Right,
but you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready for this next hard journalism article you're going to be bringing to us.
This is a good one.
Okay, what do we got?
Tesla owners are being told not to wear Apple virtual reality headsets while driving.
What? Wow, really? Okay. Is that something you have to send a bulletin board service and the news alert out to?
I don't know. U.S. Secretary for Transportation Pete Buttigieg posted on X to say that all current vehicles require the driver to be engaged at all times. Videos posted online show people in the driver's seat of cars which have the autonomous mode while wearing the Apple headset over their eyes. One was reposted by Pete, who wrote, "Reminder, all advanced driver assistance systems available today require the human driver to be in control and fully engaged in the driving task at all times." Apple's user guide warns against using the headset while driving.
Okay.
While Tesla should always maintain control and responsibility for your vehicle, even when it is in autonomous mode.
Okay.
The Apple Vision Pro headset went on sale in the U.S. on February the 2nd with a $3,500 price tag.
Yep.
While users can see through the glass in some modes, it would still severely restrict vision while driving.
Okay. Did you hear about the guy on the New York subway? He got mugged because it was.
Yeah, you were talking about that, but I think this is just funny that we actually have to tell people to do this.
Yeah,
this is why I laugh. This is the fun stuff about human behavior, because we are so dumb that we will
think that you can drive.
That we will think that this feature of my car, this does autonomous driving, and I've seen videos of other people doing other stuff.
Yeah,
right. Which is insanely stupid and somebody's going to win a Darwin Award
for this. Yeah,
for this.
I just don't get. Clearly, these Apple users again are a unique breed. I have played with one of the new Apple devices. I do not own one myself.
Well,
and they're nice, but I would never think that I'm going to be taking this $3,000 device out in the public or use it to drive or use it in this mixed reality. I would do it at home. I'm not going to be using this as a virtual desktop or to walk down to the store.
I don't,
get something.
I don't really get into that stuff. I know you have
I got a Quest.
I don't really have this, but the fact that people are being called out for using it while driving, that's the scary thing. This is why I'm always talking negatively about stuff, because this kind of stuff is super scary. What would happen if you're driving down the road and suddenly get T-boned by somebody who is in their Tesla wearing their Apple goggles and playing some video game or using a virtual desktop or something while they're driving?
I win a lot of money.
What would you do?
I win a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Once you, okay. All right. Well, I to keep your positivity moving forward.
Yeah.
Here we're going to story number 3.
I love this one too.
All right. Wendy's wants to start Uber-like surge pricing in 2025. Let's go to Karen Westland for more on the story.
Wendy's will use new digital menu boards to change your burger's price based on overall demand. It will start experimenting with surge pricing, much like Uber and Lyft, as the company rolls out digital menus to all its United States restaurants by 2025. Under the test, burgers, Frosties, and other menu items will have dynamic prices, costing more during times of increased demand. But a Wendy's spokesperson said its dynamic pricing will also enable discounts at slow times of the day. Wendy's did not comment on higher prices during peak hours, but confirmed these changes could be coming as early as next year. My guess is that Mike is like most of the American population and not a fan of technology being used for surge pricing. Back to you guys in the studio.
Do you agree with Corinne?
That would be accurate.
Okay, all right. Well, here's what we got going on. Well, first, before we start this, what do you think a Wendy's Baconator right now costs in New York City?
I don't know, and I don't really care.
$12.24 to get your Baconator Wendy's.
Just a sandwich.
Just the sandwich, not the meal, just a sandwich.
That's nuts.
But under dynamic pricing, this price could fluctuate throughout the day. So the burger could increase around lunchtime and around dinner. And then during the slow afternoon times, it could decrease. So you could get a $2 off, or you could pay $2 more.
You know they do that with gas prices, right?
I do, and they do that. They do that specifically when you go to a theme park. If you go on in there, sometimes prices will change depending on how many people are there. If they have a lot of popcorn left over,
are you happy about that?
I do not like surge pricing. No.
Okay, so
good.
We're on the same page then.
But if I was an Uber driver, I would like to make the surge pricing.
That's
deal for a concert,
yeah.
But I think that's different. I have a different range for that.
This is the issue, right? What are we going to look at? The business, or are we talking about the consumer?
Okay, well, if I go to a concert, I'm spending buku bucks, and I have an Uber that's going to take me there and take me home.
Mm-hmm.
My expectation, I have no problems paying more, knowing because I'm at a concert that driver may have to wait outside in 40 minutes before it's over because you don't know when it's actually going to let out, and that I have a certain time.
I don't think Uber works like that.
Yeah, it does. You can do reserve for the Uber pricing, and then they surge that price type of deal. And I as the consumer have to pay that, but the driver also gets a benefit of doing it during surge price. So I'm okay with that on the driving aspect, but I don't think I'm okay with that on anything else. I that would totally irk me if I go in if I'm standing in front of a menu item at 11:15 and all of a sudden I see the price jump up like 35 cents. I would lose my cool because I said, no, I want the price that I just saw up there. And I'm like, oh, sorry, it's the computer system. I don't know how to change it.
Yeah.
That's the way that it is.
I mean,
dynamic prices is the new concept. Essentially, Wendy's is going to roll out all of their integrated tech as a part of this. So every one of the Wendy's stores, franchises that are out there are going to have these tech-based systems, which I'm sure as a franchisee, you're probably excited about because it can do the surge prices. Now, let's just see how well Wendy's work with other items in technology. The company had plans to unveil an AI chatbot powered drive-through back in May of last year. However, it came out that the secret technology behind some of those experiences was actually real humans. All right.
Yeah,
Now, the
well,
company
yeah,
also
duh.
announced, listen, a fleet of tunnel-dwelling, self-driving robots to help deliver your order in 2023. Okay, so when do I need to order a Baconator from Wendy's where I need that fleet to essentially have a tunnel-dwelling, self-driving robot to deliver me my burger? What am
Sounds
I,
like a
coal
movie.
mine? Am I a
That
coal
sounds like
miner?
a movie.
It's going to come on down
Remember,
there?
just like Chud,
Okay, yeah.
cannibalistic humanoid
Yeah.
underground dweller.
Okay, there you go. Wendy's is hoping that they'll use the surge pricing and that people will not mind it, especially during the dinner time rush.
I like that they put that they hope they won't mind it.
That's the company knows that this will only be a test to start, made possible by their digital menus.
Uh-oh.
What do you got, Odie?
Odie's
See,
gonna
if
say
that were
something.
me and I knew that, I would just not go to Wendy's. I'd be going to the competitor.
Okay, so McDonald's and some of their franchisee stores already do this.
They
So
already do it.
They already do. They already do surge pricing, specifically in downtown Seattle in our area. When you go down there, if it's a big event and you have a sporting event going on or a hockey game that's going on, they have different boards that change over. So they're going to be probably the first fast food joint to do it just collectively as everybody does it type of deal. But there's other fast food joints that currently do it now.
Well,
See,
that makes me hate capitalistic America.
In my whole thing about hoping humanity, my hope for humanity is that they would boycott.
I would hope so,
but they won't. And I'll talk about that.
Okay,
in
a little bit
while,
later.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. When we return, we have Nick Espinosa from Security Fanatics, who will be joining us to discuss cybercrime, espionage, and data breaches in our featured segment. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We'll see you after this commercial break.
This is Mark
and Greg
for Copiers Northwest
with a terrific offer
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner,
one of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service
as long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers
or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives
and let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
All right. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Our weekly show covers the weekly top technology subjects without any political agendas. We verify the facts, and we do that with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And, of course, with a little whiskey on the side. Today, Mark Gregoire, our whiskey connoisseur, joins us live in studio.
Tell us what we're drinking today, Mark.
Yeah, what are we tasting today?
You guys don't seem to be doing much drinking today.
Oh, boy. This is
for Benjamin Pritchard's Sweet Lucy bourbon-based liqueur.
All right.
Now, from Pritchard's website, they say Sweet Lucy's legacy has been flowing up and down the Mississippi Flyway for years, warming the bodies and souls of outdoorsmen for generations.
It kind of tastes like Mississippi water.
Now, this was born in a duck blind because on frequent companions on duck hunts, variations of Sweet Lucy's were generally homemade elixirs of peaches, oranges, apricots with lots of sugar and whiskey. Great pride would be displayed by the makers of each one of their bottles for rounds of sipping among their friends.
And all the leftovers were put in the Sweet Lucy's.
Now,
okay,
their Sweet Lucy's liqueur is no different. It has become their most popular product.
Oh, boy.
And for every bottle they sell, a portion of the proceeds goes to nonprofit organization Ducks Unlimited for their ongoing wetland conservation
That's
efforts.
why Ducks Unlimited needs more help and have other people sponsoring
I
it
don't know.
because this
Now,
is...
if you're done with the jokes, let me tell you about the stats.
I'm thinking Nathan really likes it.
Oh,
this is from Pritchard's Distillery in Kelso, Tennessee. It's a liqueur. It's non-age stated. It is 70 proof. The mash bill is unknown, and it goes for about $30 a bottle.
The bottle says imitation liqueur.
Does it say imitation liqueur?
Yeah, it actually says imitation liqueur on the bottle.
Now, this is not from my bar. This is like father, like son.
Oh no!
This is from Nathan's son's apartment.
Wow! Okay.
Tell you what, he's drinking.
Oh, he's not. I don't think he's drinking this. I think he liked the bottle.
I like the bottle.
The bottle looks nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he got full by his because it has a cork in it, so it's got to be good according to Nathan.
According to the Nathan scale,
this is cough syrup.
It does taste. It's very fruity.
I just
and
remember
syrupy.
my mom getting on top of me, plugging my nose, and putting that cough syrup in. This tastes just like that.
What kind of childhood did you have?
Oh, I didn't like taking my medicine. All right, tell us anything more about this.
Well, I was just going to say, even though we may not like the whiskey, hopefully our viewers out there like us. So please like and subscribe and comment on your favorite whiskey, and let's see if we can get it on the show to review.
All right,
not Ducks Unlimited.
With our first whiskey tasting
Sweet
completed,
Lucy.
let's move on to our feature segment. Today, we have our technology expert, Nick Espinosa, joining the show. Nick is an expert in cybersecurity and network infrastructure. He's consulted with clients ranging from small business to the Fortune 100 level. In 1998, at the age of 19, Nick founded Windy City Networks, which was later acquired in 2015. He is now the main man at Security Fanatics, where he is the chief security fanatic. Let's welcome Nick to the Comcast video stream and start our next segment.
Welcome to the segment we call Ask the Experts.
Hey guys.
With our TechTime Radio expert, Nick Espinosa.
Hi, Nick.
Nick, I hope you're having a better whiskey than we're having, or just plain water. You'll be fine with that too, let me tell you.
You know, amazingly enough, I had two things on my Apocalypse bingo card, and that was one, duck blind hooch, and the other one was people with Vision Pros while driving autonomous vehicles. Those were both on my
So you got two of those. All right.
Yeah,
we can certainly satisfy the bingo.
Well, we got Elon Musk going off at Microsoft a little later in today's show,
go.
too. So there you go. All right.
Crazy.
Well, Nick, welcome to the show. Now, we always enjoy having you on. You're our cybersecurity expert, and we got lots to talk about. I sent you, again, we had communicated last night, and I said, hey, let's talk about this subject. And Nick was like, man, that is so old, Nathan. That is so last week and a half. I mean, we are moving on to the newest and brightest breakups with companies getting hacked to lots of other stuff. But let's first start off with a very sad aspect. We're going to be talking about a ransomware attack that hit the U.S. largest pharmacy distributor, with 1/3 of its patients in the entire U.S. seeing outages and delays in refills. How did this happen? And tell us a little bit about this, Nick.
Yeah, this one's absolutely nuts. So the company we're talking about is called Change Healthcare. They're basically a subsidiary of Optum Healthcare, which is a subsidiary of United Healthcare, which is like the largest healthcare provider here in the United States. And they are a technology services provider for pharmacies across the entire United States. So they got a cyber attack from a suspected nation state threat actor, meaning like the Russians or the Chinese or somebody hit them, ransomware them out, and by virtue of it locked up pharmacies across essentially the United States. And that started on February 20th. We are 7 days in and we are still having problems with this, although they are in the process of restoring a lot of this stuff. And for the record, Change Healthcare is responsible for 15 billion healthcare transactions every single year. And as you mentioned, 1/3 of all US patients have this problem. Now think about this. You've got people on life-saving medications. You know, I literally had a client years ago that was on like blood clot medication, was told to go off it for a surgery, was off it for 3 days, and literally died because of a blood clot. So not having access to this kind of stuff is a horrific situation. And if it's a nation state sponsored threat actor, them's fighting words for the US government.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, pharmacy, I mean, if you go after our healthcare, that's America has a lot of strengths in military paralysis, but they do not have the ability to be safe on our healthcare system. So that is a concern to me. Now, this is your favorite government we're going to be talking about here. What's next?
Is there a positive to all this, that if they keep hitting us in these areas,
2/3 of the patients were good?
No. I'm being serious. Okay. Is there a positive to this, that if they keep hitting these areas, those areas are going to get bulwarked so that they up their security level and it won't happen as much?
Well, so one of the biggest problems is that most improvements on cybersecurity in my experience have been retroactive. So like every week I do a breaches of the week video and podcast. And literally the one that I did a couple days ago on this past Sunday was 40 minutes long of just breach after breach after breach. About 70% of those were healthcare. And so healthcare is a huge problem that we have because healthcare tends to be very behind on these kinds of things. And so by virtue of that, we're just kind of stuck. And that goes for anything. I mean, your accountant could get hit next week and start sending in fraudulent tax returns, literally with your name on it. And now you've got a problem with the IRS. We've had cases like that. So this is just across the board. But when you're hitting critical infrastructure, that's a huge issue. And Biden publicly went out near the beginning of his presidency, and in this case, talking to Vladimir Putin, saying you can't hit the 16 core critical infrastructure sectors of the United States, or we're going to come back at you. This is one of those things where if we can confirm it's a nation state actor, I'm pretty sure we're going to get to hacking them in some way. But we'll see what happens.
You should probably say that on TikTok.
Was that?
You should probably say that on
Right.
TikTok.
Well,
Yikes.
so Nick and I have different opinions on TikTok, right? So Nick hates TikTok, and that's I get it. I totally understand why he hates it, and I kind of like it because I hate all the stuff that essentially
you have
Facebook sells to the government.
You have the honest justification for why you hate everything but TikTok. But
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, all right. Well, speaking of TikTok, well, maybe not TikTok, but a major Chinese government contractor was exposed as he's been reported that China has been hacking and surveillancing everyone. So now is this just a flashy headline, or tell us a little bit about this, Nick?
No, if anything, this should be the biggest news story in terms of security and cybersecurity for 2024, at least to date, right? Because who knows what's going to happen in the next 8 months. But this is a huge thing because essentially the Chinese police are investigating an unauthorized and seriously unusual dump of documents from one of their private security contractors that is literally linked to their top systems. In other words, the Ministry for Public Safety, that which surveils everybody, hacks everybody, etc. These are the people they were contracting out to do it. And so this company is called iSoon, that's I-SOON. And man, they have been hacking, they have been surveilling and running disinformation campaigns around the world. And so their list of targets of governments they've hit alone are obviously Hong Kong, that China's been after them for years because they quasi-own the semi-autonomous state, not to mention Taiwan, the plucky little island, and then countries all over, Mongolia, Malaysia, Afghanistan, Thailand, India, Indonesia, Nigeria, NATO. They went after NATO. Think tanks across Asia, Europe, Central America, United States were all caught up in this document dump. The contracts for these things, the proposals for these things, it was absolutely nuts. Now, on top of this, they were also hitting airlines. Vietnam Airlines got hit. I actually just flew them in the last 6 months, so that's awesome. Cellular networks, government networks as well, and infrastructure. They've also been caught running social media influence campaigns, disinformation campaigns as well.
On TikTok.
Of course, on TikTok, your favorite app.
No, it's not. Again, it's not my. It's just not my favorite. I'll be very clear. TikTok's not my favorite.
Right.
What I'm just saying is that at least I know TikTok isn't selling our information to the United States government because
they're selling them to somebody else.
That's right. Okay, there you go. Okay,
absolutely nuts. Absolutely worst security news of the year so far.
So far. All right, we're gonna have to do. You know what? We have to cover the top. We did that last year. We went through the top 13 technology stories regarding cyber breaches that was posted out by some big conglomerate, and we had 10 of the 13 that we talked about on our deal. So I'm sure that this is one of them. But the next thing is great. Facebook Marketplace was hit with a good chunk of their entire database that is now up for sale on dark web. Man, I am not a happy Facebook customer. Let me just tell you, this week I am about ready to kill anything to do with Facebook. I had pages up. They take down pages. They use some AI bots. So if you write a complaint about a page, you don't have to do any research. Facebook just takes that page offline for 4 to 5 days without saying anything, and then they have someone take a look at it. Oh, okay. All right, that's a different story. That's a different story. But
you're
what's the cost of the dark web right now on Facebook if I wanted to have some of their marketplace code?
Oh Lord, it's not that expensive. It's going for something like few grand, 20 grand, something like that. But essentially what happened was one of the Facebook contractors got hit. Nobody knows which contractor because the outfit that is selling the data, they're known as Intel Broker, are not talking about this, but they hit them in October of 2023, and they basically grabbed about 200,000 data points. So if you've sold something on the Facebook marketplace, full name, phone number, Facebook and physical IDs, Facebook profile settings, all this kind of stuff is currently on sale for the dark web. And basically on top of it, we have an additional 24,127 email addresses that have been compromised. I mean, if Facebook is breathing, they're getting data breached. And this is a huge one in the sense that what you're talking about is the marketplace, because most of us are not submitting things like driver's licenses or IDs to Facebook just to sign up to the account and then yell about politics for 6 months. Sure. If you're selling something on the marketplace, you actually have to give them ID and validate that you are who you are so they can thwart scams. And so hitting the Facebook marketplace is some of the most sensitive user data that we're going to see out there. So it's
seems
just
like
a
a
mess.
vicious circle.
You know what? There's got to be a better social media platform out there. Nick, we gotta
you know what it is?
Drink some beer and pizza. What? Notepad?
New York Times.
The New York Times. The New York Times.
We should go back to newsletters.
We got to figure out something like bulletin board services or something like that. I mean, this is just now getting to the point.
This is ridiculous.
It is getting ridiculous.
It's always ridiculous.
I mean, now I just might as well just walk around with my credit card right on my forehead and say, "Here you go.
Yeah.
Take whatever numbers I have right there for it."
Well, there is a social media platform being developed called Better Social, and it's supposed to basically be exactly that. Much more private, validates who you are, so it thwarts bots, all that kind of stuff, because it's integrating human ID technology. Like literally, human ID is the outfit. So things are coming, but we have such a stratified. If you look at the college level and below, there has got to be like 20 different social media platforms now that are all being adopted. So like the old gray lady of Facebook is just basically where grandma and grandpa go, and the kids eventually come.
Yeah, we're talking with this other group that I'm doing some online stuff with, and essentially we were trying to figure out where we're going to have a forum for people to communicate with, and we actually went with what most people wanted to use, which was a Discord channel to communicate with people versus a Facebook group page, a Facebook group chat, because more of the people were accustomed to that and felt safer in Discord on a one-to-one chat process than the big mighty Meta. And that
Discord themselves have publicly said we really don't monitor what goes on. Now they said something different to Congress about child abuse material, but they've traditionally said whatever you're doing on Discord, just go do your thing. We're not scanning this. It's more confederated.
There you go.
The more that I do the show, the less technology I use.
We are not going Amish. We are not going Amish here.
All right. Okay.
I'm adopting a Luddite lifestyle.
All right. Okay. So here we go. So we got 2 minutes or less. We're going to talk about these items. The LAX airport, Robert Half, Microsoft, U-Haul, Cigna, Schneider Electric, the makers of APC, and more got hit in the last week. Give us a rundown in 2 minutes. What's going on with each of these companies?
Lordy Lord. So let's start with LAX, the massive airport here in the United States. Basically, if you have a private jet, you got hit and you got that data exposed, once again, thanks to Intel Broker. And if you do have one, make sure you tell Muffy at the club, because hers probably got hit too. Moving on, Robert Half, the massive human resource consulting firm. Once again, Intel Broker's been a busy boy this week. And so they got confidential employee files, customer records, as well as settings for OpenAI, your homeboy Altman there, Twilio, and other things as well. On top of it, that's going for about 20 grand in the dark web.
Okay.
Microsoft got basically disclosed 0 days. So they have over 97,000 Exchange email servers that organizations are still using around the globe that are exposed to a 9.1 out of 10 critical vulnerability, meaning I could teach a third grade class how to break into your company. So go update your email server. Not to mention the fact that a ton of their executives just got hacked, basically by a gang looking to understand what Microsoft knew about them.
Yep,
On top of that, U-Haul, you're not hauling your data apparently, or they're not rather. So they got hit when an internal system for dealers and team members got hit to track customer reservation. So your customer records got put out there, but they say payment details weren't there. So your credit cards apparently from U-Haul are safe. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Cigna,
they knew I moved.
Yeah, right. You did. So maybe you change that number. Anyway, Cigna as well, they got hit through their medical, like one of their outsourced medical billings, Prospect Medical Holdings. So that's a classic supply chain hit, which means not just Cigna, but a ton of healthcare companies are going to declare in the next couple of months. And I'm going to be talking about it. And then finally, Schneider Electric, the French giant maker of APC stuff, essentially they got hit by the Cactus ransomware gang that was discovered on January 17, but it only hit their sustainability business division. The problem is their sustainability business provides services to Clorox, DHL, Hilton, Pepsi, and a whole bunch of others. And so we may see some massive Fortune 100, Fortune 500 breaches again having to be declared because of Schneider Electric. So this is obviously a complete mess out there. But man, everybody was hacking everybody in the last week.
This is the new Wild West.
It is.
This is the Dalton. This is the Dalton gang going after the train. You know,
it is.
Exactly
most of these cyber gangs now are backed by Italian mafia, old traditional mafia groups, and Russian mafia groups. And so if you look at what happened is they used to have the thug that would come and beat you up for your rent payment. Now they've just all moved all that work online, and that's how they make their money.
I don't know. My thug came along.
It would be a real shame if something happened to your website. A real shame.
That's right. Real estate. All right, Nick. We always enjoy having you on. Tell everybody where they can get the information so they can listen to the 45-minute depressing security breaches. I know
I don't listen.
Mike's going to sign up for this immediately so he can listen to this.
Right. Bring your alcohol and Xanax, but you can share. You can share.
I listen to Nick instead of country western music.
But unfortunately, if you listen to me backwards, you're not getting your data back.
Man.
So I say all of that to say, share, follow me, Facebook and Twitter, Nick A ESP, YouTube /Nick Espinosa. Come say hi. I love hanging out.
All right. It's always a great time, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that ends our Ask the Expert with Nick Espinosa. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we will be doing so, or maybe during the break. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. See you in a few minutes.
Join the fun and grab tickets to GeekFest West, the 3-day Geek Festival extravaganza of fun and entertainment that will take place on the third weekend in July. Learn more at geekfest.com. GeekFest will feature diverse activities, including a film festival, vendor hall, street fair, outdoor music festival, cosmic cosplay, and video game tournaments. Join us at GeekFest West, the ultimate celebration of geek culture. To learn more, visit geekfest.com. That is geekfest.com.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going back to February 24th, 1962. The very first phone and TV satellite relays were established. The first satellite telephone and television relays are established through the communications satellite called Echo 1. Its design was remarkable. Simply put, it was a large balloon that measured 100 feet across. The satellite provided a reflective surface in space. Radio signals directed at Echo from one location on Earth bounced to another. By the time Echo 2 was launched in 1964, other types of communication satellites had also proven superior, and researchers used the Echo's primary for scientifically done experiments.
This is where it all started, huh?
Yep. Echo satellites posed a unique technology challenge, though. They were sent into the orbit flat like a pancake, and then they would inflate in space. Inflation had to be done carefully to ensure the integrity of the satellite's balloon surface. Now, I encourage you to go take a look at a picture of Echo 1. Essentially, it looks like aluminum foil. It looks like
It was Mylar, wasn't it? That's remarkable. Simply.
Okay, so it was very remarkable. Simply put, it was easy to bounce radio waves off items back and forth, but it was a very unique concept at the time when they originally put up the satellite. They didn't think about bouncing off television and telephone communications at first. It was actually brought up to do other tasks, and they redeveloped it as they continued.
Yeah, so all you 5G people out there, this is where it started.
This is it with a big Mylar balloon.
Big Mylar balloon.
That was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some tech time history, with over 180 weekly broadcasts spanning 4+ years of videos, podcasts, and blog information, you can visit us at techtimeradio.com. Subscribe and like to our services to watch our older shows. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have the Mark Mumble Whiskey Review. See you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
All right, what do we have here, Mark?
Oh, what are we celebrating today?
Duck blind hooch.
Yeah, we're all duck hunting with this stuff, right?
Nothing to do with ducks.
Nothing to do with ducks. What's
Well,
February?
kind of to do with. Actually, I take that back. A little to do with
You
ducks.
gotta take it back.
Okay, all right. There
was a whole big spiel about duck blind.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah,
And
no,
Ducks
I meant
Unlimited.
for the day of February 27th.
What is February 27th?
So
Don't drink this whiskey day.
it's two things.
Okay.
First, it's personal. It was my grandfather's birthday. He would be 107 today, which is surprisingly older than our good friend Greg and McNabb.
Ah, there you go. I get
that
you. Yeah,
was that a
that was a shameless plug there,
a
right?
little shameless plug?
Yeah.
Okay.
And today is National Protein Day.
Okay.
So there you go with ducks. That's a protein.
Protein.
Okay. I feel like you're taking on some of Nathan's leaps of logic here right now.
Well, I got a little bit more. So let's talk about National Protein Day. Our bodies crave protein, which is a macronutrient. Today's focus on the health benefits of one's body's most basic building blocks. Now, remember, protein helps build bones, skin, cartilage, and blood. All very important for you.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Now, while promoting weight loss and increased muscle mass, there are all kinds of ways to get your protein. Now, my grandfather's was boiled chicken and an occasional well-done steak.
Ooh.
Boiled chicken is nasty.
I don't know if I do a well done steak though. I kind of like mine a little. I like mine a little
red.
Little red.
I don't go with either one of those either, but that's what he ate almost every single day.
Well, if it made him happy, you know.
That's
good.
You know, a little trivia there. Chickens used to be like a whole chicken used to be like a nickel.
Okay.
Back
in the
then.
day.
Yeah, because my grandmother would boil a chicken every day for her dogs.
Let's bring that back.
Okay.
Huh?
Let's bring that back.
Yeah. Well,
do you like boiled chicken?
No, chicken
What?
for a nickel.
Oh, chicken for a nickel.
Chicken for a
Okay.
nickel.
We're gonna have surge pricing when
see,
you go down
that's
to
what you
Fred
get.
Meyer's.
That's what you
pick it
get
up.
for living in a capitalist
You
society.
pick it up
I
from
know.
Fred Meyer's and it says it's $4.95 a pound, and you go and check it out. Oh, it's surge pricing now.
Surge
$4.99.
pricing.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, sorry.
All right. Now we'll continue because the coincidences don't stop.
Okay.
My grandfather had a daughter named Lucy. Now that's my mother.
Sweet Lucy.
Sweet Lucy.
That's going to be my new swear.
Your swear word?
Yeah, Sweet Lucy.
And besides loving protein, he also had a huge sweet tooth. He would have enjoyed this Benjamin Pritchard Sweet Lucy bourbon-based liqueur.
Okay.
Now, Pritchard's Tennessee whiskey, though in Tennessee, is not produced using the Lincoln County process. Now, this is charcoal mellowing process that occurs when whiskey is filtered through charcoal before going into the cask for aging. Due to a special grandfathering exemption, under a Tennessee law acted in 2013, the Pritchard's Distillery in Kelso is the only producer and allowed at all to label its product Tennessee whiskey without using this process.
Oh, okay.
Their whiskey is still produced using pot stills, not column stills. Now, like most whiskey liqueurs, Pritchard's rendition is overwhelmingly sweet, a syrupy concoction that is so very sugary with no hints of bourbon for me.
Yeah, I didn't taste any.
This
There's
is
no
not
bourbon.
my jam. I think all our listeners would know that. And but I will still raise a toast in memory of Papai. Now, for non-French speakers, that's slang term for grandfather.
Okay.
I'll finish my whiskey here.
All right. Got to drink that quick.
Yeah, that's gross.
All right. Mark, thanks
He
for
would
that
have liked
mumble.
it though.
Whiskey and technology. What a great pairing. Just like the pairing of Facebook with AI. Okay, let's now.
Man, you're getting worse. Dude.
I have
We
not.
are out of time.
There you go.
Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh, I failed, did I?
Yes. Did I? Yes. Did I? Yes.
All right. Speaking about this week's technology fail, this comes to us from one of our favorites, Elon Musk. It's been some time since we've had him in this segment.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about him lately.
I don't think we talked about him at the beginning of this whole year. I think he's now.
This might be the first time we've talked about him twice.
Well, Elon Musk decided to criticize Microsoft's process of setting up a new PC. So first off, you're telling me that Elon Musk actually set up his own PC? Because I have worked for many billionaires in my life and multimillionaires as tech support for these people. Not a single one of them set up any
I
other
don't know.
PCs. So I actually think he may have actually done it based on these complaints.
Based on what's going on, I think Elon is the kind of guy that would try to do it himself.
Okay, so he did. Well, Elon Musk recently had some problems. Essentially, he bought himself a new Windows computer, specifically a laptop. When he wanted to start using it, he realized that he had to create a Microsoft account to do so. Most people know this, but apparently it caught Elon by surprise and raised his hackles because he must have had other people set up his PCs in the past. Musk expressed he was disappointed with Windows 11's Microsoft account on X, where he posted this. Musk wrote, "Just bought a new PC laptop, and it won't let me use it unless I create a Microsoft account, which also means giving their AI access to my computer. This is messed up. There used to be an option to skip signing into a Microsoft account. Are you seeing this too?" Put that out to everybody.
Wow.
Now, Elon Musk wasn't satisfied with that. Instead, he also vented his displeasure with a direct tweet to Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. Musk wrote, "Satya, I don't know or I don't want to be a pain, but please allow users setting up a new Windows PC to skip creating a Microsoft account. Now, this option disappears when the computer is not connected to Wi-Fi. Also allows you to sign on up saying that you don't have Wi-Fi access." Musk was upset, though, because he said that even after he did get it signed up, it still wanted him to use his email account and create an account because he uses his work email address, and I only have work email addresses. Now, it's interesting that a billionaire actually spent the time to set up a machine. Now, on the feedback that he was getting, it was hilarious. One person told him, and I don't know if it happened or not, to put his laptop upside down and to shake it like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Like an Etch-a-Sketch.
And then it would take care of it. Another person had him essentially reboot the PC and went into the BIOS to disable all of the safety features of the machine itself. And there were some hilarious comments. I'm sure he knew that most of them were fake, but he was happy to announce later that he had managed to set up his Windows PC without a Microsoft account.
That makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Thanks to the instructions from a follower. Yes, you can still use Windows 11 without a Microsoft account, but doing so requires some unique workarounds, specifically not connecting to Wi-Fi. We're going to head out to our last commercial break.
Wow.
When we return, we have Mike's mesmerizing moment brought to us by Story Coffee and the Nathan Nugget of the Week. See you after this.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon The Bookpository, and more.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com. All right, Mike. Are you excited about the economy possibly turning to surge pricing for all of our products?
Am I excited? No, I think this is a dumb idea. But then again, who cares what I think?
Well, no, this is your mesmerizing moment.
Yeah.
Why is we talked about it on the top of the show? Why is Wendy's deciding that this is what they're going to be doing for their?
Because they want money. It's
Okay.
a cash grab, and they are using this technology to maximize their profits.
Okay.
Right. So do I think it's going to work? I hope it doesn't.
Okay.
But realistically, it's probably going to, because we are slaves to our routines.
Okay.
As well as slaves to merchandising.
Okay.
So,
So now all of a sudden I go into Starbucks and My price of coffee is gonna be a little bit higher in the early mornings, and
you're
I'm
going to accept it.
Yep.
Because it's part of your routine, and you're more likely to pay the additional money because it is part of your routine than not.
Or you
now
adjust your schedule.
Now here's
my lunch schedule becomes
there's
2
going
o'clock.
to be there's going to be a group that's going to try and cheat the system by coming earlier. But what's that mean? That means you're going to have a shift of everybody going to an earlier time.
So that becomes a surge.
It's going to be a moot point.
Okay.
So, do I think it's going to work? Probably. Do I want it to work? No. I think this is a really crappy thing to do to people. I don't use Wendy's, so it's not going to affect me. I generally do not use fast food outlets for my stuff, but
it's just way you go to the teriyaki place, and all of a sudden she's like, "Hang on a second, I need to change the."
The price. That's
all right. Well, let's go to our.
They just gotta keep trying to find ways of wheedling money out of people.
Let's go to our Nathan Nugget.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right, here's my Nathan Nugget. I got 2 things we're going to talk about. One, Nintendo amps up an old feud in Mario versus Donkey Kong. I just got this. It's an old remake of the 2004 Game Boy Advance, essentially for Nintendo to come on up. Essentially, your Mario it's old school, not too much. It's all kind of within the screen itself. And I am very happy to say that it is taking my time and enjoyment to play kind of an old school Mario versus Donkey Kong game available for the Nintendo Switch right now. Available now.
You have
speaking
a
of games,
Switch?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
Speaking of that, what if all of a sudden you could mow down demons? Essentially, Doom comes to Husqvarna's smart lawnmowers. If you've ever wanted to play Doom on a lawnmower, now you'll have your chance. With a new software update is coming to the robotic line of lawnmowers this spring.
Wait.
The lawnmower company. Okay, what's that?
Are you literally saying that I could mow my lawn and play Doom at the same time?
That's
literally,
cool. Yeah.
Mow my actual lawn.
Yes.
If I had a lawn.
Yes.
And play Doom at the same time.
Yeah, the legendary 1993 video game Doom will be playable on the robotic lawnmower models.
I guess
April this year.
I guess they didn't get the warning about the
Paying
Apple
attention?
eyewear while driving.
So you know what? This is so amazing because I thought that the cup on my John Deere to hold my beer when I went out there was such a great invention that hit me as
that
awesome.
coming out of your mouth is the funniest thing ever.
But now I'm going to be playing Doom while I'm out there mowing my yard. My wife's going to come on out. What are you doing? Honey, hang on a second. I'm at level 4-7 right now. I got this demon I need to kill in front of me. I'm ready to go.
So does the thing like mow on its own? Is it an autonomous vehicle?
Well,
this is essentially exactly the same problem with the Teslas.
So this is it. So essentially you sit on that, make sure it's not fully autonomous. You still have to make sure that things are going, but it will go down and it will map out your yard and you can sit on it as you go. And then you can look like you're doing a lot of work and you can play Doom.
That makes sense why you want to do it.
That's no, I'm going to get
but,
one of those.
I'm thinking all these little wavy lines all over your lawn and crashing into a telephone pole.
That's when you die. All of a sudden it stops.
Yeah.
You have to get back out. And
if you run your mower into a ditch, that's when your character dies. So I don't know.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's go to our pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, Mark, what are we tasting again?
We are tasting
Duckline hooch.
We are tasting Benjamin Pritchard's Sweet Lucy bourbon-based liqueur. It is their best-selling product from Pritchard's Distillery in Kelso, Tennessee. It is liqueur, 70 proof, $30 per bottle.
Sweet Lucy.
And there's no secondary market on this one.
Sweet Lucy. What are you talking about? You guys aren't trying to pass these on your little Facebook group that you have?
Never seen
by?
this one there.
Oh man. Okay. Well,
this is the kind of bottle that's going to go next to that crud that I brought in that I regretted from when I bought it at QFC.
Okay. So are you giving this a thumbs up? Is that
Absolutely not. This is a double thumbs down for me.
Double thumbs down. I say this is a thumbs down for me also.
Yeah, and Odie wouldn't even try it. That's how smart she is.
All right, so and this is not on your shelf.
This is not on my shelf. It will not be at our studio shelf. It can stay in your son's apartment.
Okay, there you go. Well, guess what, Mike?
He probably won't even notice that we took it and drank out of
That's
it.
probably right. We want to thank our listeners for joining the program. Listeners, we want to hear from you, so visit us at techtimeradio.com. Click on the Be a Caller on the top right-hand corner and ask a question on technology in our TalkBack recording system. You can always stay connected by signing up for our newsletter and stay up to date on technology. As we leave this week, we want to have you back next week. We want to get that 5-star review, and we want you to always remember that the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.